is something that that I know you have some experience with.
That's
There's a challenge here for everyone to tell embarrassing stories about themselves.
Oh, I love that. Ooh. Come on, they have to be truly embarrassing.
Does painful also count as embarrassing?
No, it has to be something where you truly are ashamed to have to tell it. Ashamed.
I've blocked all of that out. I have to
That's why you have to find them.
Your brain has edited out that portion of your...
Yes.
Everybody has one.
Or a few.
I've got one.
Bill's got lots, or Frank, I mean.
I don't know if this has happened to anybody in chat, but I was half asleep one night when I was visiting my parents, and I walked into the kitchen to get something to eat, and I randomly grabbed at a plate on the shelf, not noticing that it was under about half a dozen other plates and cups, and they all came out onto the floor. And my parents came in wondering what the bus this great big crash was. Oh, yeah, that was...
Okay.
All right, here I'm going to role model how to tell an embarrassing story, if you don't mind, because I think I got some skill with this.
All right.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
A couple of years ago, I stayed at my brother's house in Vermont with my other brother, and we shared like a Jack and Jill bedroom, right? So there was a bedroom and a bathroom, and then a bedroom. Then we were both attached to the same bathroom. Everybody went to bed. We've been partying and whatever, and I had one of my first menopausal hot flashes, which at that point I didn't really know what that actually meant. So I'm asleep in bed, and all of a sudden I'm dreaming that I've been set on fire. And I'm pretty sure somebody's poured gasoline on me and set me on fire. So I get up out of bed, and I strip the sheets, and I go around, and I'm running around. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I finally get into the bathroom, and I find this one beat-up old face cloth lying there, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my best friend. So I pick up this face cloth, and I get cold water on it, and I go back into my bed, and I lay down, and I put the little teeny face cloth right over my belly button just to try to cool down. And I'm like, oh, this is the most horrible thing ever. Nobody told me about this. I checked to see if the house was on fire. That's how hot I was. So I pass out, which was a good thing. And the next morning I wake up with Shirley Temple curls in my hair. And my brother says, what the heck was that last night? And I'm like, you don't want to know.
So your hair had curled itself?
I had sweat so much that all my hair had gone into ringlets. And I had apparently woke him up talking to myself because I kept saying, stop moving around, you're only making it worse. I had personally forgotten that part, but he had not. He was like, who did you have in your room with you last night? And I was like, me? Yeah, that was pretty rough. You know, he still teases me about it. So, anybody else got a story that makes you squirm deep in your belly to have to tell it publicly? Yeah. See, that's the feeling, right? You have to have that feeling where you're like, oh my God, everybody's going to know this.
Yeah, I have to try to make mine a little PG because it's... all of my embarrassing stories are not really appropriate, but this one can be censored. When I was 8 years old, my grandmother's brother was staying with us. And we lived in sort of a 3-story house, and he was in the basement in the downstairs area. And everybody had left, and I was being watched after by my grandmother and her brother. She was off doing something else, and I was sort of minding my own business in a corner. And everybody had sort of forgotten that I was there. And so my uncle starts to look at particular websites on the computer while I'm in the room, not realizing that I'm in the room. Now, my full name is John Anthony Bates. My initials are JAB. some of the more astute in the chat will know that there are particular websites that use those initials for their full web address. And so me being not quite understanding what it was that he was looking at, suddenly hop up out of the corner and go, "Hey, that's my initials, that's my website." Yeah. It was, and I don't really remember what happened after that, but I know I woke up in my bed like 3 hours later. Everything between there is sort of a blur.
And that's when I blacked out.
And that's when I blacked out.
I mean, it's for me, like, a lot of my most embarrassing stuff is, of course, recorded and posted onto the internet.
On the internet.
Or if not in the actual videos, then in like behind the scenes stuff. There's the video where I'm somebody running in reporting a robbery. I'm supposed to be reporting a robbery at a. I'm supposed to be reporting that I had my wallet stolen. In the course, while I was busy murdering somebody, I had my wallet stolen, and I go to the police, and I'm like, I was murdering somebody, and somebody stole my wallet. What are you going to do about it? And then it turns out that in this particular messed up world, the murdering somebody isn't that big a deal.
But stealing is.
But stealing is.
Yeah.
And so, but we were doing this, we were filming it, we tried to get the best place that we could that would kind of look like a police department, although it didn't. Was up at UVic, sort of one of the more sort of official-looking buildings up at UVic, and so I'm like wearing a suit and just like running down the court, and I have to like shout. So I'm like, "Officer, you know, I was just busy murdering this." I think it was actually like murdering this prostitute, and like while there's like other people around, it was one of those things where it's like the embarrassment will be fleeting, but the recorded video will last forever. So I might as well do this properly.
Embarrassment temporary, notoriety permanent.
Yeah. The other thing that actually has come up recently is I do a podcast with my brother called Fight the Future, and he's living in Italy right now, and so we're recording it over Skype. And in order to do that, we have to synchronize, you know, between the two things. So we do sort of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clap at the same time to synchronize. That has turned out to be surprisingly difficult. I have forgotten how to clap a few times. I went like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forgetting that it was the head going together part that makes noise when you clap. Sometimes it's amazing. I have problems.
So before our donation drive runs out, that you only got 7 minutes left, well, 7 minutes and 30 seconds, for $10.25, if you donate, you can get a Halo encyclopedia. Let's not forget. Mm-hmm. Let's push those numbers up. Remember, this is for the kids, my friends. This is for the kids.
I've got one.
All right.
Okay, Nubis, step up, man. Tell us your story.
Okay. For the longest time, I've had a variety of phones, and the first one I got, which let me play back little audio files, I had Chris Moyles from BBC Radio 1 shouting, "Get down on the floor!"
Oh no.
And this was fine. It made people laugh whenever I went around, until my mum phoned me when I was in the middle of a bank getting up some cash.
Oh man.
Awkward. I froze. I said, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to reach into my pocket," which probably wasn't the best thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Take out this phone, hit red, and promptly walk outside. Very fast.
And then the police siren.
That's pretty funny.
So, moral of the story is don't have a threat as your
As your ringtone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the moral of that story.